Hello, and welcome to the CatCast. With you, as always, is your host, Kat Kennison, to bring you another informative podcast. Hopefully. It's glad to be here again. I'm hoping to give you another great show. Today's topic is going to be about logic and how I like to use logic in all my decision-making processes. And this has come to my mind for the topic, again, due to my CB radio app that I like to hang out on and that I run, or I try to run with the help of friends. And it's all just to help my mental health. And I do it because I'm hoping that I can help other people's mental health while I'm helping my own. I believe God brought me to the application because I was very lonely for quite a while, and I was looking at doing CB and ham radio to have people to talk to. I didn't want to bother my friends or my family. I just wanted to have people to talk to that liked to talk like I do, to interact with. And when I was looking into the costs of the CB and the ham is like really expensive, I was like, well, maybe there's an application. And that's when I found it. And from when I first got on it, I'm like, this is interesting, this is intriguing, talking to people. And it took a little bit before it clicked. But after, I don't know, I bought my dual mic probably within a week of getting on the app, which not everybody recommends, because you can only use it with the application. But I remember feeling really good, and I'm like, this thing is only $100 some, and I was looking at spending $200 for a CB plus an antenna, and then ham is like $1,000. I'm like, I can spend a little over $100 for a mic, and I didn't even need the mic. You don't need the mic, but I was like, I like this, and I thought it would be kind of cool to have the mic. I am glad I got the mic, of course, now, because the way I use the application, it's a necessity. But I've come a long way in human resources, I would say, or in dealing with things in a diplomatic way, to not look like a biased individual. And recently, I don't know if somebody, they probably weren't questioning my neutrality, but they brought up an issue that made me wonder, am I being neutral? And you have to always look at it from an outside perspective. From your own perspective, you always are going to be like, no. And I don't want to get too much into the details, but I can see the other person's perspective. But that also could, their perspective could also be biased in a way. So it's a tricky line you walk. And I still feel pretty good about the way I handled the situation. But after today having a big dialogue, I feel a lot better about it, because I made it real clear that I'm never out to hurt people. I only want to help people. I want to be a friend, and I'm not out to hurt anybody. I never have been. I never will be. It's just not in Cat's nature. I sometimes joke around, but I never think I go over the line. But, that's all objective. But I don't want to hurt people. And one of my friends said, your problem is you are too kind. And I was okay with that. But I don't want people to walk on me either, And I think I do stand up for myself when I need to. But I don't need to be mean or hurtful when I do. And unless I'm dealing with trolls. You know what trolls are, that come on the internet and they're just trying to upset you. I might, not be as kind to them, but they're out just to be mean. So I guess that's why that's the time that I'm like, they're not, they are out to cause issues. So I'm not going to play into their fun kind of thing. So that's where I look at it, and I think it's okay. Now, on our channel, there's not supposed to be any swearing, but we always have said, if you swear, you apologize, and we move on from it, because there are many people that swearing is second nature to them. Not that that's an excuse or a reason to allow that, but if you have people that, if it slips out but they apologize, I'm okay with it, unless they're doing it every sentence. Then I'm going to be like, okay, they're taking advantage of it. But when they are doing it, and it's every, it might be often, but it's not maybe more than once in a key up, and they always apologize afterwards, then I take that into consideration. I like to do things like how Jesus would, and I know he would not push people out for that unless they're doing it to be disruptive. And in the instances that we had, it was not disruptive. It wasn't directed at anybody. It was just saying the swear word with what they say. It wasn't, attacking someone with it. And so I took that into consideration as well. And I want to help people. And there are a lot of people in pain in the world. And a lot of them get on this application because they're lonely. I was lonely. There's a lot of people, you just want to have someone to talk to, or you want to have someone to listen to. Some people don't want to talk, they just want to listen. And when I was at the hospital, I noticed that everyone that was there because people would hear them, but they didn't listen to what the person said. There was no way for them to help that person with the issue the person was having. And I knew that early on because there was a lady there that as soon as she got there, she told everybody her story one at a time, and she'd come and tell it to you again if you wanted to. How her family wasn't listening to her, and all she did was threaten to take a long walk off the dock, which your fight to survival, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. It was obviously a call for help, but what they did was not helpful. They weren't hearing what she had to say, and sometimes there is nothing a person can say that is going to help you. I know that for a fact. But it was nice to have people listen to you and not fight what you said. A lot of times they didn't have much to add, but they didn't fight what you said. They said you have a right to feel that way. They said, I understand why you feel that way. They said, I would feel that way. I mean, all kinds of stuff that is like reinforces why you're feeling that way. There's nothing wrong with you for feeling that way. And that's sometimes what you need to say to someone. And then you need to say, but we can't stay in that funk forever. We might not be able to fix that situation, but we can't dwell on it forever. Eventually, we're going to go forward. That's the way time works. We can't time travel, so you keep going forward. And it's a tricky thing. I myself have had many issues with not looking back and just moving forward. But you realize that looking back is just not productive. And that's when we're coming back to logic here. So when I look at situations, instead of putting emotion into it, which a lot of people do, I just take that out as much as I can. It's very hard to do because, we're emotional people. We have emotions. But I take it and I look at the logic like Spock would from Star Trek. And I'm like, this is our situation, and what can we do to make it better? Not why am I feeling this way? Not, why, is this, none of that. What do we do to counter that situation so it no longer affects you negatively? And it's hard sometimes for a person to come up with something to put there because they just constantly want to go back to why they're there instead of coming up with, well, what will make you get past this point? And it's something that people won't understand until they've been in the situation, because you feel like, well, nothing I do will make this better. But there are things, and sometimes you just don't know what they are, but it's because you haven't tried. So I talk on this app. I listen to people as well. I don't just blab, I listen. I try to pick people up. I try to make them feel good. I try to help them mentally and emotionally where I can with logic. I don't let them do a pity party. I will let them vent. I think venting is good. But I think you have to, after you vented it, you got to let it go. The vent is to get it out, so it doesn't back up and go, you vent it out. But once you've vented it, you move on from it. And how you do that is different for everybody. But you don't keep thinking about it, because that will put you back in it. You don't keep talking about it, because that will put you back in it. So it's a complicated process. But what I do on the channel is try to keep a big group of people all getting along And that's very hard to do with so many personalities. But I always take logic into my decisions and how I process things. So there is no way to say there's a hard and fast rule for anything, because there are so many different aspects to a situation that can change how you would react, And that's like if a 4-year-old went and did something foolish but they didn't know, you wouldn't treat it the same as an 18-year-old that knows better. I'm just giving a very basic example. There was a Star Trek episode where they went down on a planet. This is the Next Generation. And Wesley Crusher was down there. And they had a rule. If you broke a rule, the penalty was death, no matter what the rule was. Death. Okay, so he's down there playing ball. He doesn't know the rules because it's not his planet. And he goes to get a ball, and he goes into the garden area to get it. And they were trying to stop him, and he thought that they were worried about him being hurt. And he's like, "Oh, I got it. It's fine." They're like, "No, you went into the garden. That's forbidden. Now you're going to have to be put to death." "What? Put to death? Because I went into the garden?" "Well, I didn't know." Ignorance of the law is no excuse. "I'm not even from your planet." No excuse. That's dumb. Cat will never accept garbage like that, okay? Now, ignorance of the law, if you're from that planet, yeah. He wasn't from that planet. They should have told everybody, "Hey, if you break any of these rules, you'll die." I don't think anybody would have got off the ship and went to, "Nah, forget it. This says if I step off the sidewalk and touch the grass. What if I trip?" You're dead. "Yeah, man, you fall, you're dead. No old people." It's chaos. It's stupidity, But that was their law. Okay? Now, it served a good purpose. Nobody broke any rules. But an accidental rule breaking is way different than an intentional rule breaking. Way different. Now, maybe only Cat's in that mind, but I've always been that way. I'm trying to think of another instance I could give you, but those are pretty good examples of why you have shades of gray and not black and white. The incident where a kid picked up a stick that looked like an L, and they said, "Oh, zero tolerance guns." That's like he brought a gun to school. No, it isn't. He picked up a stick and pretended it was a gun. That's not the same thing as bringing a real gun from home. The stick was on your property. You should have everybody going around breaking all the sticks or picking them up so there are no sticks out there for them to pick up and make guns with. That should be the school's job, don't you think? I mean, why are you putting that on a kid? "Hey, man, you pick up a stick, man, but you can play with guns at home. The play guns, but don't you dare pretend to do that here." They take all the fun out of being a kid nowadays. They've also made a bunch of shooters into kids. When I was a kid, we knew right from wrong. And we didn't go shooting people. We didn't go shooting our schools up. Now people do. We had G.I. Joe. We had He-Man. We had fighting. And everybody knew what was fake and what real was. Now you have SpongeBob. I mean, I guess it's great for kids, but I don't know if it teaches them the same lessons that G.I. Joe did. G.I. Joe had a PSA after every cartoon. Public service announcement geared towards children. I watched them recently. They're excellent. You ever seen that after SpongeBob? I haven't. Not one time. Amazing, right? My friend tells me, no, SpongeBob's cool. SpongeBob's real cool. And nobody died in G.I. Joe. They all parachuted to safety. Exactly. Exactly. They made that into the show. They didn't want anybody being killed. So that's why they made that into the show. It's an important factor. But you still had good versus evil. And you had kids understanding make-believe and reality. People don't do this anymore. Use logic. They want everything to be simplified to a rule. Let's go with the alcohol thing. That's what, 0.10? When I was in DARE, that's drug education resistance. Oh wait, drug awareness education resistance education, drug awareness resistance education. Dawn Rader, she was our DARE police officer that they hired, came in and told us that before she got to 0.10, she was too drunk to drive. And, since then it's been lowered to 0.08. But the problem is, some people are too drunk and some people aren't. But they had to set a number. And they make it the lowest number that somebody can be drunk by, which is not fair. But they have to make a number because that's how you can tell. Okay? And all their things they test you with, like their sobriety tests, those are all stupid. They're all walking tests. Okay? Do you have to do any of that crap when you're driving a car? You're sitting down. Okay, we need you to walk a straight line. When do I walk a straight line? When I'm driving my car. I don't ever do that. All right, we need you to touch your nose. When do I touch my nose when I'm driving my car? Well, these are motor control functions. Okay, all right. Well, I've seen people before where they can't stand on one foot for 30 seconds, and you'll say they're drunk, and then they find out they're not drunk. So your tests are made to make people fail. Heck, one of them is the alphabet backwards. I can't do that right now sober. There's no way. The only way I can do it right now is singing it. And if you ask me what letter is after a letter, I will have to sing it to tell you. Okay? So to me, these tests would hurt my feelings, if they wanted me to do that. I'd be like, I can't do that. Why not? I have a learning disability. There's no way I can do that. Count down by 7 in your head. I can't do that, sir. I have a learning disability. I can do it with a calculator. I can't do that right now. Perfectly sober. I can't do it. And the all those physical tests as well, a lot of that stuff is not, they'll have you doing it on an icy road or it's uneven concrete. You got loafers on, slippery dress shoes, whatever, crap like that. It's made to make you fail, and I don't agree with it. I don't agree with having that alcohol thing where you can't test, They need to have a thing in their car where you drive a car, okay? And they tell you to go someplace and you drive there. You don't actually drive it. It's a video game. And that would be a good test. I'd be all for that. But that's not what they do. They do walking tests and brain tests, which I couldn't do right now when I'm sober. Kind of hurts my feelings. And I don't want to be out there doing all that crap in front of people either. Oh, look, cat, he must be drunk or something. It's another way to embarrass you, I don't like it. So I'm never for hard, fast rules. I'm just not. And I never will be. I take logic and make decisions. Now, sometimes I will roll on the side of being nice because I'm trying to help people. That's all I'm trying to do. I've been helped, and I want to help other people. It helps me to help people. I'm not doing what I do to bother anybody else. It's all about helping people. And so many people hurt. And that's why they're lashing out, because they're hurt. You lash out a lot when you're hurt. And I can see that. And I just want to help people. I just want to help people. I don't think there's anything wrong with my goal or my mission. I think God wants me to do it. I have a passion for it. I'm pretty good at it. And it's helping me. I don't want to get too emotional, but what I do is never done to hurt somebody. This podcast is not meant to hurt people. It's meant to help people. It helps me sharing it, and I hope it helps people that hear it. And that's why I do it. It's never to hurt. Never. Never. I come from love, compassion, hope, faith. I want to inspire people. I want to, just be a good person. And I don't know. I'm not ever trying to hurt people, though. This is a good message. It's needed in the world. If more people thought, how can I help this person? I know they're upset and they're lashing out at me, but it's probably not me. It's something else in their life. If you can understand that and know it's not about you, it's about that person that we're trying to help. Maybe they can't be helped. You don't know. I'm watching the time. We're getting close. Maybe they can't be helped. But you try. You try. It doesn't hurt that much to try. What's the worst thing that can happen? It just doesn't work and you have to kick them out. But I'd rather help them. I hear all the time from a lot of people that they love the channel. It's a great channel. It's friendly. It's, a good time. And that gives me the feeling that I'm doing right. And it's not always that way. But for the majority of the time it is. And that's what I will maintain to the core, is a fun place where it's safe and people can hang out. But I'm not going to let too many people dictate how it goes, besides God. And the way he's dictating it is I'm asking him and he's giving me the answers in feelings, And when I feel good, I know I'm doing right. And I feel pretty good. It was a tough day today. My mom had to put her cat down. She had him for 11 years. His name was Wally. And he was a feral cat. I wasn't going to bring this up because it's hard for me to talk about, but my dad passed, and Wally's been there for my mom. And your pets are like your kids. And I'd like you to all say a prayer for Wally and my mom, if you would. And just lift them up, because she misses them. And we're sad about it. Thanks for coming to the Catcast. We'll have another good show tomorrow. I promise it won't be a tearjerker. I hope you enjoyed the show. I love you guys as always, okay? All right. Cha-ba-cha. This is Cat Kennison, your host as always. Come back for the Catcast tomorrow. We love you guys. All right. Bye now.